Obviously, it goes without talking a lot about it, but huge win for us. Secures, at worst case, a home game in the playoffs. We had still a lot of scenarios where, unfortunately, we could be the odd team out and be in seventh. With the news over the last 24 hours that we might have to play this game without Chene, a huge win against, a true champion, and really, really proud. It sets us up for an opportunity, to stay at home at least for a round. If Atlanta beats Phoenix tonight, we would clinch fourth place. So go Atlanta. But we know how important that last and final game here at home is for LA. There was a determination and effort on the defensive end in the second half when they shot nearly 65% in the first half. That first quarter, over 70%. We held them to 15 of 39 in the second half, so shooting percentage in the 30s, and brought their game shooting percentage under 50%. And you would have thought that was impossible after them shooting 70% a long way into the game. But she called off the dogs early and subbed, but holding that talented team to 33 points in the second half, wearing them down. We tried to keep the tempo up. We tried to keep attacking. We tried to keep moving them on the offensive end, and it finally started, to pay off. So outscored them by 20 in the second half, and that's a credit at the start at the defensive end. So when I took over this job, I'll talk about this, is we talked about building a franchise and building a culture here that could play and eventually be built for championships. And we wanted to model ourselves after Minnesota. And if we were going to talk about becoming a champion, we had to talk about the best. And I got in the league in 2015 when they won the championship. And, really proud as taking over the Connecticut team. In 3 years, we're now 6-3 in the regular season against them. The best regular season record of any team in the league against them. So if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we've modeled ourselves after trying to create a championship culture and a championship team in the shadow and in the likes of Minnesota. So we have a great deal of respect, but we're proud of what we've done against them in the regular season over our 3 years, and it's all a process. Questions?
5-0 against Minnesota and LA this season. Coming into the season, how dominant they were, did you think that was something you could accomplish?
You hope. Obviously, our kryptonite coming into the season was LA. We were fortunate to get an early win against them when they were not at full strength. Had a hard-fought win there. And a great series for us with Minnesota. We kept grinding. We had segments where they clearly outplayed us, but we tried to just stick with it, and we've had a good stretch against them. So I would never say that we didn't think it was possible, but those are the two dominant franchises in the recent era. And again, if you're going to talk about knocking a Minnesota or LA off, you've got to go try to beat them in the regular season to give yourself confidence that you could do it in the playoffs. Minnesota's
used to winning these pressure games. How nice is it to see your team have that hunger to do something like this?
Yeah, we never gave up. Literally, it felt like they were 7 of their first 9, 8 of their first 11, whatever it was. We just could not get them out of their offensive rhythm, and everything was coming real easy. And you could have started to see a team get really rattled, and they stuck with it. And we just kept begging them to stay in plays, begging them to try to defend. And so when we started to get stops, we were able to start running. and get the game up tempo, which is so important against Minnesota. We have to keep the game up tempo. If it gets in a low possession game, they can play through fouls and mile more, and then they're really tough to beat. So you can't get your running game going if you can't rebound and can't get them to miss. And for the longest, I mean, we had single digit or 10 rebounds at halftime. As a team, we didn't have one rebound from our post game between Jones and Jones. We didn't have one rebound at halftime. So when we finally got them to start missing in the second half, we got our running game going also and got the tempo where it needed to be.
Was there any discussion at halftime to keep going inside, stop settling for jumpers?
Yeah, I think I still was saying that walking down the back hallway. Keep attacking. We're better when we get pieces of the paint. That can be off the dribble, that can be catches, but we have to get pieces of the paint. It opens up our outside, and we were still. Minnesota had subbed, and we were still begging our players to get pieces of the paint that last 3 minutes of the game. So, absolutely a point of emphasis.
Leja did that well at times tonight.
Leja had a great game, and not only offensively, her penetration led to a lot of things, but defensively, she gets a lot of deflections. She's a tough defender, physical defender, a good doubler, got tips from behind. She's been huge for us, and she's shown up every game, since the trade. She's just been a really, really pleasant addition. She's really fun to coach.
With the technical, can you coach on Sunday?
Pardon me?
Can you coach on Sunday with the technical foul?
Yeah, I still have one.
Okay, she still has
Way of
some.
6.
I was 6.
Curt, what's going through your head? JJ gets 2 fouls early, she sits down. Foul scores 8 in a row, 10 in a row, something like that.
She's 8 of 8 at halftime.
Yeah. So are you thinking we just get to halftime, or what's going through your?
Well, we talked about everything was coming fast to her, and we couldn't show her any different looks because they were coming early in the shot clock, and we didn't feel like we were congesting her a lot. Our doubles were a non-factor because everything was happening so fast. So we talked about, grinding early in the shot clock, and then their spacing would become clear, and we'd know who to come off of and be able to double. So we just told them to stick with it and keep battling. We knew she couldn't keep that possibly up for the whole game. But it's not, as the dominant center in the world that she can be, it's not just the person guarding her. It's the help side, it's the ball pressure, it's are we in and off, the person trying to pass her, are we giving different looks? So it's a team effort to guard Sylvia Fowles in this league. It takes 5 people. There's very few teams that can guard her one-on-one in this league, and we're certainly not one of them. And one of the things that we miss with Chene is her footwork, but we also miss that 6 fouls, trying to keep, someone fresh on her, and if you had a foul or 2, you could just keep running fresh bodies at her, but we were down to 2 bodies instead of 3, that'd be able to guard her.
What's Janae's status?
Day to day, kind of like mine.
Leisha, are you able to run Jazz off the ball more now than you were before? Alex did like to do a little bit of that. You're able to do a little more than that now?
Yeah, we could put Jazz off the ball when AT was in. With AB back, but now Leisha is a really, really pass first point guard. Really thinks the game. Alex was a scoring point guard, so we moved her on the ball to be in attack mode to score. Leisha's in attack mode and will be an opportunistic scorer, but she's a point guard that's going to think about getting other people in actions in the ball first. It's nice to be able to move Jazz off the ball, and she'll tell you a lot of her career and overseas she plays a lot of 2 guard. So it's been a good combination, and I've enjoyed playing them together.
Leisha's physicality seems to be a real plus to the way she is pretty fearless on both ends.
Yeah, we play with small 2 guards with Courtney, And most of the time, Rachel comes in for the two guards. So we always give up size at that position. We always have to be cognizant of the fact that they will post our two guards up. Well, now Jazz brings a little bit more size. You bring Leisha in, and now you have a physical presence, and maybe that counters some of these teams that want to post our small two guards.
Coach, you talked about Minnesota being somewhat of a blueprint for this franchise with you at the helm. You're still building that playoff culture, though. How much of last season and then building from last season have you started mapping out, and are you talking about with the team?
Yeah, it takes time, and we knew it was going to take time, but we're proud of our back-to-back 20-win seasons now. It's only happened twice in our franchise history. So one of the things that I prided myself at the collegiate level was not just building programs, but building sustained success, and that's what we want to do. Now, we advanced to the second round, but we technically didn't win a playoff game. So again, now, we'll play our guts out on Sunday and see where we end up are seated. But the next progression is advancing in the playoffs. And you can't talk about semifinals and final series until, you can advance through the first or second round. So, that's the next step. But my focus right now is on LA. We win on Sunday. We equal the best home record in the league. Something that's really important to us, and our fan base is a big part of that. They give us the energy, and one of the things we've talked about is being a good home team, and we have the ability to match the best home record in the league with a win on Sunday.
Can you talk a little bit about JJ's performance tonight and just how good she's been recently?
Well, she's just so talented and so multi-dimensional. Not only did she score around the rim, but she just stretches defense, and her timely three-pointers tonight were a huge story, and just difference maker that we could space that out and hit that. Underrated what she did on Sylvia in the second half, and very underrated. Now Sylvia missed a couple shots that she'll normally make, but JJ's length hopefully contributed to that. But she didn't get discouraged on Sylvia going 8 for 8 at halftime and just dominating us. JJ came back out and kept fighting with her, and so really proud of her at that end to keep fighting. But offensively, just a monster night for us, and her plus minus was outstanding.